Hey there folks, I'm Michael with BC Shaver and Hobbies, and this is today's Spotlight build. This vehicle started out as a Traxxas TRX-4 Tactical Edition. The original owner had plans to turn it into a vintage Ford Bronco, but tragically he died before it could be finished. His family wanted to finish the truck in his honor, so BC Shaver and Hobbies stepped in to complete the project. Now, I've already reviewed a TRX-4 in a previous video, so today I'm just going to go over the changes that were made to convert this from a tactical unit into a vintage Bronco. First, the wheelbase of the chassis had to be shortened. The stock wheelbase of a TRX-4 Tactical is 12.8 inches, but the wheelbase of this body is 12 inches. The TRX-4 has 4 possible wheelbase configurations, but there isn't one for exactly 12 inches. 12.3 is as close as it gets. Now, this does work, but there are a few caveats which I'll go over in a few minutes. The actual process of shortening the wheelbase involves replacing the rear links and the rear drive shaft with shorter ones to move the rear axle forward. Traxxas sells a kit with all the parts that you need to do this. The kit includes new inner fenders, shorter suspension links, a shorter half shaft, and a front battery tray. The TRX-4 has 4-link suspension in the rear, and the links are held in at each end with long screws. For the upper links on the axle, these same screws also hold the shock ends in place. The drive shaft going to the rear differential also needs to be shortened using a smaller half shaft which is included in the kit. Now, this body is considerably narrower than a stock TRX-4 body, so the inner fenders also had to be narrowed using a rotary Dremel cutoff tool. The body mount heights at the front and rear were also adjusted to fit, and the bumpers were removed because they stuck out way too far for this body. Now, the '73 Ford Bronco body itself is made by Proline. As with any Lexan body, the first step was to trim it out of the sheet of plastic it's molded in using Lexan scissors. Before painting, the body was placed in its final position over the body mounts to mark and cut the post holes using a Lexan reamer. It's best to do this before applying any paint, since you can see through the body. The body was painted in Tamiya PS59 dark metallic blue and PS5 black. Since Lexan bodies are painted from the inside, the coats need to be applied in reverse order, so the windows, fenders, bumpers, and roof were masked off before applying the blue. After the blue coats were dry, the masking was removed on everything but the windows, and the black was applied. In addition to coloring the fenders, bumpers, and roof, the black coat also helped stop light from shining through the blue. The windows were left clear. The last step, once all the paint was dry, was to peel the protective film off the outside of the body and apply the decals for the lights and other details. After that, the only thing left to do was mount the body on the chassis, and the Bronco was complete. Now, getting back to what I mentioned earlier about the wheelbase, it doesn't quite match between the body and the chassis. It looks okay, but if the suspension goes to full flex, as you see here, the tire hits the fender and scrapes on it. So this doesn't flex quite as far as a stock TRX-4 does, and so it can't get over rocks. They're quite as big. This could be solved with a high lift kit or by trimming back the fenders a bit. But for this truck, it's just fine the way it is. It's a loving tribute to its owner and something for his family to remember him by. And that's all it really needs to be. That's it for this episode of Spotlight Builds. I will put the part numbers for all the parts we used on this truck in the description, and I'll also put in a link to Traxxas' website with more detailed instructions for the wheelbase change. To buy parts for your own RC projects, stop by BC Shaver and Hobbies, or visit our online store at capitalhobbies.ca. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Michael, and I will see you next time.